Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Tracy Cram Perkins and our show today is Dementia Home Care. And you can subscribe to our YouTube channels at USA Global TV and Radio and Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. I am a 4-time dementia caregiving survivor and the author of Dementia Home Care, How to Prepare Before, During, and After, which is now available as an audiobook. Joining me today is Kitty Norton, Director of Wine, Women, and Dementia. Welcome, Kitty.
Hi, Tracy, and thank you so much for having me. And I'm happy to have people here listening to us. This is great.
Oh, I am so excited to have you on here. I wanted to know if you could tell the audience a little bit about yourself and how you got here.
Sure. Well, my mom was diagnosed with vascular dementia in 2010. And my father was going to be her primary caregiver through her journey, with my sister and I helping him. But unfortunately, 6 years in, my dad died rather suddenly. And my sister, who lived on the coast, Oregon coast at the time, we're in Portland, and I was down in LA working at the time. But both of us just came back, and I decided to move into my mom's basement with my boyfriend, and boy, was he happy. And my sister came in from the coast a couple of times a week. So we split up the week and we cared for mom until she died in 2021.
Okay, that doesn't sound even the least bit easy. You just gloss over it like it's so easy. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what happened with your mom, because bringing you two together and your boyfriend all together in the same house taking care of her, how did the respite go? How did the journey go? Did you get sleep?
Nobody gets sleep in dementia. Although that was the first pill we added to mom's regimen, was a sleeping pill, because she was not sleeping at all. My parents had a split level, so it was really easy for my boyfriend and I to live in the basement on Lexi's days that she was here, and then come back up and live with mom upstairs, when it was my turn. And it was difficult. My sister and I were coming from kind of a rough spot. We were just kind of coming together after a really kind of brutal fight about 5 years earlier. And, here we were thrown into the same house, and it was a lot of negotiation. Both of us never doubted our devotion to my mom. And I think that was the bridge that stayed open. Even if we were squabbling with each other, there was no doubt that, we were both devoted to doing this for mom. So it was interesting, and mom still had free reign of her house. And sometimes my fellow would be downstairs asleep and mom would come in and smack him on the head. And and he worked in a bar for a while, so he would come home sometimes at 2:30 in the morning, and if mom was up and I was asleep, he'd get her ice cream and they'd turn on the TV and watch the, television for a little while until she was ready to try sleep again. And, we just all kind of pulled together for mom, even if sometimes we were not necessarily all that compatible amongst each other.
Okay, well, that leads me to my next question. You eventually created a blog. Can you talk about that journey?
Yeah, that was really one of the things that saved me. I'd always been a creative person. I was in the creative arts most of my career. And as the journey went along, I was very discouraged by the continuous tragedy narrative. And there's a lot of tragedy in dementia, no doubt. But there was also an awful lot of life. And I wanted people to know that. And I needed to process things also, and through writing, I could really stop and examine maybe some of my bad caregiver behavior or, a response mom had to me that was devastating at the time. I could really think about it in maybe a different perspective that made it less devastating. And, it was really important to me. And I loved creating the images. I got to do all of that. And so I wrote a blog I started in 2018 and wrote it until about the end of 2022. And Stumptown Dementia. It was fantastic. It was really cool.
So it took off.
Well, I would say that we never had like thousands of readers, but we still have steady readers who come in and read stuff. So some of the posts are up to about 2,000, 3,000 reads. But what did end up happening is because I had to use humor a lot to get through my journey, I found a lot of other people who felt the same way I did, that the tragedy narrative was not doing any of us any favors. It wasn't making our jobs easier. And we were all kind of using humor to help us and our person get through these days. And in that space, I made some amazing friends around the world. And then there were 5 in the US that became so very, very important to me. And we would email or Zoom, comment on each other's socials or the blog, but I'd never met any of these people. So after Mom died in March of 2021, it became very important for me to go meet them. And that and that led to a documentary.
I want to hear how you came up with the RV.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay, so my first motivation for doing this was just escape. I'd been in Mom and Dad's house for 5 years, and I wanted physical distance. So once we got Mom, all taken care of and the estate stuff going, I was like, I'm going to take off and I'm going to go meet these caregivers. If they say yes to me coming over in Texas or Pennsylvania, I'm going to show up with a bottle of wine and a box of pizza and we're going to talk. And all of them said yes. So then I got to thinking, well, those conversations might be really important for other caregivers. So I found a DP and a sound guy who was willing to do this. Of course, I paid them. And they had to go in a separate car just to maintain kind of that distance artistically. And I got to thinking, I really just want, if I can find a beat up old RV that I can afford, I'm doing this in an RV. My parents had always RV'd. It always kind of seemed even more adventurous to hit the road and not stay in hotels. And yeah, so kind of the last minute, like before we left in September, and I found an RV I could afford in August. And then I took it to, one of those printer places and they slapped logos all over it. And I had Mom's face right over the gas can. And, it was just amazing. And it said Wine, Women, and Dementia on it. And Bethy, my friend who went with me, we would laugh because people would kind of drive by us and go, And we thought, they're looking to see if we're drinking wine and if we have dementia, if we even know where we're going. But it was amazing.
Oh, that is so funny. And you brought your dog.
I did. Mr. Bones, Barnaby Bones, came with us. He's also a cast member. I'm thinking he did so well, I might give him lines next time.
I love that. And so you and your friend went on a little road trip that involved over 7,000 miles.
Yeah, right? We were a little over 7,500 and we just went all around the country, just made a big circle in the month of September. started from Portland. We had done Seattle. Allison Schreier, who is now Zinnia TV, we did her a month earlier just to make sure. I wanted to come home with the footage and make sure before we really embark, is this going to be worth watching? And I watched the footage down and I was like, wow, this is a film. So we started in Portland, went to Chicago first. That was our first stop. So I think that was like 6 days. And then we went on to New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, Atlanta, which I had my very good friend, Nicolette, lives down there, and Dallas. Dropped Bethy back off in LA because she had flown up to go with me. And then me and Mr. Bones came on up the Pacific coast, and it was incredible. It was 27 days for me.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So staying with 2 women in a RV, not including Mr. Bones, there had to be moments when you were tired and maybe you didn't quite get along.
No,
really?
Actually, no, Bethy did get she was pretty tired. And at one point when we were in New Hampshire, we couldn't find lobster rolls. And she got really upset about that. Not at me, but she got upset about that. And it was the next day that I said to her, Beth, did you know that was my birthday?
Oh, no.
But it was fun having something over her for the rest of the trip. So it all worked out for me.
So, okay, you got all these people to open up to you and share their journey. I mean, I have seen the film twice, I'll be honest. And it was the first time I watched it, I'm glad I didn't see, you showed us the short, which is only like 58 minutes or something like that. When I watched the long version, I'm glad I was by myself because I wept my eyes out. It was that emotional. How did you get everyone to start opening up like that? I mean, that was just incredible.
It was nothing that I did.
Okay.
We had already established that we were friends, and a lot of Beth and I would joke every time before we pulled up to somebody's house, because we were going to, park the RV, stay up and shoot our thing at night, and then stay there. So we had to plug into their garage, and we'd always joke like, oh God, what if they hate us? What if I hate them? What are we going to do? We have to stay here tonight. But we would get together. The crew had already done the formal interview before we even got there. And so we would get there, we would have some dinner, and then while the crew's setting up for the night shot, and they would come in and get after us, and they'd be like, you guys got to stop talking. We don't have the camera set up. These are really good stories. It's like we saw each other and we were just vomiting caregiver stories everywhere. And enjoying sharing notes on, I did this, oh, I did that too, and here's how we solved that thing, or we never did solve that. Yeah, me neither. Just like funny stories, outrageous stories, the really tough stuff. We just talked about all of it. And once we did 3-hour shoots at night, and once the crew would wrap and leave, we'd continue. We'd just stay up and keep talking, It was amazing. I didn't do anything to get these people to open up. Maybe the wine helped a little bit just to get us going. But other than that, we were just so excited to share what we had been through.
So, okay, I want to dive into a nitty-picky detail. You had coffee cups for everybody?
And they were tin. Because they were all I could afford.
Oh, okay, so for the people that haven't seen the film, Kitty was bringing coffee cups for them to drink the wine in because she didn't want to walk upstairs and wake her mom up while she was caregiving for her. So this is just such a wonderful thing because when you were bringing it in, just showing them the coffee cups, it was so cool. It was just like, and they would look at it at first, and then the light would come on. It was I just love that.
I know Veronica and I have an exchange where I'm explaining that. I'm like, here's the coffee mugs, but that's because we, Lexi and I, when we'd have a wine night, we didn't want to walk upstairs and wake mom to get real glasses. And she goes, I tiptoe around here all the time. And that was like within the first 5 minutes of meeting her. Like, it was just so compatible, we just couldn't stop. So yeah, That was the thing with the coffee cups. And we do still have coffee cups for sale in the shop, although now they're actually really good coffee cups and not the tin ones. Those all got given away.
Well, I hope you autographed them because they're collector's items now.
Oh, I am not sure about that, but thank you for the
Yeah.
compliment.
Oh, well, the fun part of your film is everyone was real. Like, okay, since you did Allison ahead of everyone else, let's just talk about this for a minute. Allison Schreier was on my show a couple months ago, and she's just such a wonderful person. But to
Yeah.
see her bleed on the screen like that, talking about caring for Evan,
Yeah.
you guys were sitting in the bedroom and she was pouring her guts out. Yeah, it was incredible. Do you want to talk a little bit about that experience?
Sure. Like I said, we did Allison early, and and everybody was like that. Nobody held back. The crew would often get more emotional responses in the formal interviews than when the two of us were talking later at night in the informal interviews. And Allison just came out of the gate ready to talk. She just had all of this that I feel maybe she was processing too, and just getting it out of her system. And that was amazing. I think it wasn't just that I needed to process, it was that everybody was looking for some way to kind of unburden themselves with the fact that they found something really funny, even though most people might say, oh, that's really awful. Or the fact that they were doing sometimes a terrible job. And actually, that was mostly me. But yeah, it was amazing. And so many things landed on the cutting room floor too, or never made it to the first cut. We sell Blu-rays and DVDs. And so I think there's 6 scenes that just didn't make it into the film. And we ended up putting those as bonus features on the DVD and the Blu-rays. So, but yeah, I hope that answers your question. It's kind of the same answer as before. We just wanted to talk.
Oh, absolutely. So let's talk about your journey now. We're going to go back a little bit in time when you're taking care of your mom. What was that like for you?
It was very difficult. It happened really fast. My father was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and died within 3 weeks. And 2 of those weeks we spent getting him ready for chemo before some doctor finally said, hey, Mr. Norton, this is the end. So I felt like one thing in finishing the journey for both of them, for my dad, I just wasn't there enough. I regret so much that I didn't say or didn't do. And especially like those first 2 weeks that we had with them, because I thought we were trying to keep his spirits up for chemo instead of going, wow, Dad, you're leaving. What can we talk about? What do you have to tell me? What do you have to impart? And for Mom, by the time we finished Mom's journey, both Lexi and I felt like there is just nothing left to do for her. Gloria, get on out of here, man. There's no going back. And the only way forward is that way. So that way. But it was a big change. And in some ways, it was a good change. While I was doing very well down in LA in post-production, LA wasn't my place. Mm-hmm. And I always tell people the last gift my dad gave me was I had to come home and take care of Mom. He brought me home. I would be so exhausted. And you try and just redirect and put on a happy face. And oftentimes I was very successful, but there was a few times where Mom went through some really difficult periods, like a full year in the rage stage. That was really trying. Then she had this 3 weeks of just abject depression where she just hated everything. And, I was about ready to put her out on a corner and with a, will you be my caregiver sign? Just I can't take it anymore. It's hard. It's a really hard journey. What made the difference for me was my sense of humor, our family's sense of humor. and community. The community that I built, the way I brought already friends and family into Mom's journey. Yeah, it's difficult. It's tough stuff.
Oh, there is no doubt.
Yeah.
It's just-
Yeah,
yeah,
you've done it 4 times, 3 times?
4 times. Yeah, it's not easy. I think anybody who is going through the caregiving process, if they watched your film, would not they would bond with what you are doing, because it is such an emotional journey. We all feel so isolated and alone. You had a way of making it very inclusive, which is another thing that I admired about the film, is that you brought people in, you shared their stories. Every one of us that has done caregiving could relate to that journey. There was not a single moment that you didn't have that wasn't raw and real. And that's something that I appreciated. And I don't know, how was it for you being on the receiving side when you were connecting with everybody? I mean, you were talking a little bit about it, but I mean, what was it like to just have that time to share with them? And are you still sharing with them?
Oh yeah, we're all still in touch. It was, I think I kind of covered that just with the processing and the gratitude for having someone to talk to. I'll say I'm still sharing the film with the world, and there's a lot of in-person screenings still happening. Sometimes they bring me in to be there for the screening and talk to audiences afterwards, and that's incredible, because what you just said about your response to the film, this is the first time so many caregivers have seen themselves in this journey. You know, it so often focuses on the data or the person living with dementia, you know, the brain changes, the professionals, and that's all great stuff, but we're not ever really included. And to see caregivers, the film ends, they're crying, they're clapping, they're standing up, they're like so excited that they weren't those people on screen, but it's their stories. You know, everybody says every dementia person is different. Well, sure, but both people living with dementia and caregivers are going to experience very similar feelings, very similar successes, and very similar failures. And that's what we put on screen. So, you know, you walk out of that film and you're like, I am not alone. I am not alone. There are people saying the really gross stuff that I think in my head out loud. You know, we talk about when you go to bed at night and you hope your person doesn't wake up in the morning, or you're so scared that they won't wake up in the morning, you don't know what to do with yourself, you can't sleep. Those are, how do you deal with that? You know, we're just not, in our society, we don't equip ourselves to really face death, at least for me. And these were really hard feelings to think through, and to not think, oh my gosh, I'm the worst daughter in the world, you know? And then I find there's a lot of people who think things like this because we're exhausted and we just want an end, and then we don't. I would panic. I'd be like, no, I'm not ready to let her go.
Those feelings are so universal. I kind of think of your movie as a support group in a wine cup. But it's, I mean, it's really, you touch on so many things that every single one of us thinks, but can't express or won't express.
Yeah.
There's so much self-doubt when we're caregiving for somebody like that, and we're not equipped necessarily for any of the things that come at us, and sometimes no 2 days are alike, and like you said, you had a full year of a really challenging experience there. And
boy, was she pissed at everything.
oh, but you also had some really incredible moments of joy. Can you talk about some of those? Like, what about the sunglasses?
Wait, are you talking about from my blog?
Yes, from your blog. Yeah.
So Mom, in the later stages, probably a couple years before she died, for some reason, she started wearing her sunglasses upside down. And I would kind of correct her or put them on right sometimes. And then one day I was just like, hey, That's how she wants to wear sunglasses. Who am I to start, knick-knacking at her? So we were driving around. Had gone down south to see an aunt, and we're coming back. It was quite a long drive. And I pull up to a light, and there's these kids in a car next to us, and they were just giggling and laughing at Mom. I thought it was the funniest thing. So I took my sunglasses and I put them upside down too. Like, this is just how we do things in the Norton household. And I could barely see. Luckily, I didn't hit anything, but I went like that for about a mile. Like, yep, that's right. That's how we do things. It's the cool kids wear them like this.
Oh my God, that is so funny. But it's celebrating those moments, though. Oh my gosh, some of the best memories, even after the fact. I mean, look at how many years ago that happened, and here you are still laughing about it.
Oh my gosh.
And you have to laugh.
And I think too, like, dementia gave Mom opportunities also. It didn't just take away. The person that she became, still Gloria Norton, but just a different iteration, was very open, was very friendly to men and babies especially, which didn't always, moms and wives didn't always appreciate that. But, this woman who had been somewhat timid her whole life and very uncomfortable, she was a very beautiful woman. She was very uncomfortable with that attention. She just opened up, the whole world was there to hand her a cup of coffee and smile back at her as far as she was concerned. So, I thought there's parts of Mom that are coming out that she would have never experienced had it not been for dementia just opening her up.
That's so incredible. We don't often get to see our parents' other side. I mean, I can't speak for you, but I can only speak for myself. It took me a long time to transition from being the daughter to being the peer to being the caregiver and being okay with that. I mean, that was not an easy emotional leap to make.
Yeah.
However, when you get to the other side, I realize it's hindsight, but it makes it easier to cope, So this makes me ask another question. What, in retrospect, would you alert people who are new to caregiving to be aware of?
Oh, I have a few gems. First of all, I think all of us go into this afraid of poop. Like, I'm not going to wipe my husband's butt. I'm not going to wipe my mom's butt. You know what? Poop is the least of your worries. Get over it. There's way worse coming. And that's my other little gem that I tell caregivers. You think you're upset now? Oh, honey, it's getting so much worse. You're going to look back on this and laugh and be like, why on earth did that upset me? Because this is 12 times more horrible. So if you can get that sense of humor kind of going for you, it just helps. It doesn't make anything easy, but it does make it easier. And that's how I got through it. Poop's not a problem and everything's going to get worse. So enjoy what you have right now.
Be happy in the moment.
No. Trust me, a year from now, you're just not even going to be able to get out of bed in the morning. So you're fine.
Oh my God. Oh, I so feel that. So, okay. In thinking about that, you have all these other people that you have connected with around the country, around the world. And are they giving you advice or are they asking you for advice nowadays?
No, because I don't really put myself out there. In fact, the one thing I do say a lot on my socials is I'm not an expert on dementia. I'm an expert on getting my mom through dementia. And I am happy to share ways that we did it, but people who give you do's and don'ts, you got to find your way. And those are great recommendations. Try them out. If it doesn't work in your situation for your person, then be like, well, we're going to kind of go with one of the don'ts, and one thing I get frustrated with is when people get really upset at other family members because they aren't, they come in and do all the wrong things. And I think one thing that we do with dementia, at least I see a lot of caregivers do, is we make it so precious. And if it can't be done a certain way, then our person's going to like lose their minds for the next 3 weeks. Your person's going to forget if someone was talking to them wrong or talking down to them or keep saying, don't you remember? Don't you remember? Don't you remember? I had one of my relatives who wanted to do that a lot, who wanted to just do all these kinds of things that weren't really helping. So instead of correcting her, I just said, try it. If you get a good response from mom, you're doing great. If you don't, well, here's what I do instead. That may work better. Give people the opportunity to fail, because otherwise they're just going to be so terrified of doing things wrong, they won't show up, and that's one thing I think while I was so vocal about my failures, because I wanted people to know, don't worry if you do things wrong. People with dementia are doing things wrong all day long. You'll fit right in. And FYI, us caregivers don't really know what we're doing either. So ask us for some advice, but just be there. Just be there and make the mistakes, because we'll certainly help you get back to a better place. And it's worth showing up for. This is a journey that's worth being a part of. And I know that everybody who is involved with mom, and some of them probably because Lexi and I kept mom very in touch with them, I know by the time mom finished her journey, they were so proud of themselves for everything that they did for Gloria, for their lovely friend, for their lovely sibling. Instead of just getting a phone call one day and they hadn't seen her in 2 years. And then they feel like, oh, it's so sad. Well, yeah, death is sad. Show up and be a part of it. And you'll feel more like you kept those bonds of friendship and relationship alive. And that might be a really good feeling by the time everything's over.
Oh, that's fantastic advice.
Is it? I think that was really preachy. I guess I'm on a soapbox here. Lord.
Well, you were willing to share, and that's a huge thing in and of itself. But also, people don't know what they don't know, and we're so afraid of failure that you can fail your way to success. I mean, look at what we've done. We failed our way through it, and we lived. And now we're out, helping other people get through it. That was just so cool. Just so
well,
cool.
And I think about it in my own experience. Like, I have a friend who has a severely autistic son, and I didn't show up for her for most of his childhood because I was so afraid of doing the wrong thing. And he kind of scared me because I was never around him. So then I think about other people, and, nobody wants to do the wrong thing, like you just said. And it's, if you allow people the opportunity to screw up and fix it, then they're more likely to keep coming back, I think. It's all conjecture on my part.
No. I mean, okay. Have you ever heard of the program Share the Care?
Yes.
Okay. So it's the same philosophy as Share the Care, and people that do that, it's a fundamental change in the way we think, because we go from how we start, and the journey literally changes us into someone completely different. We go from valuing how people think of us to actually feeling the value of the people we love. And it's an incredible feeling. And you just described it so succinctly. I mean, it's one of those, a lot of us don't give ourselves permission to do that. And I think that's the beauty of what you do, Kitty, is that you are out there saying, hey, it's okay what you do.
Well, thank you. Thank you. That's certainly, I think that was everybody's goal who participated in the film. We all just wanted caregivers to know that we're, if these doofuses can get through it, you guys can too. And we made all the mistakes. Actually, you might have some original mistakes. Just send me an email. Let me know how it went for you. See if there's a mistake I haven't made. That could be a contest.
That would be fun.
Yeah. That'd be a book.
Oh my God. Well, this has gone so fast. We have about 5 minutes left. Is there anything else you want to share? Any little tidbits or advice you'd like to get out there?
gosh, you put me on the spot. I don't think so. I know I shared a lot on the blog, and people are still reading the blog. I shared a lot about how my perspective was a little bit different about things like loss. Like, the hardest thing you'll ever do is lose somebody who's still next to you. And I thought, well, not really. The hardest thing you're ever going to do is celebrate somebody who's changing. That's what you got to figure out. Anybody can cry over losing somebody. That's easy. Try celebrating them. Try celebrating who shows up on the rage stage. That's hard.
Especially when they're throwing things at you.
Yes.
Yeah, duck.
Really, really good at ducking.
Yeah, I had a few times when I was diving silverware.
Yeah, you're like, oh my God. I had a friend who they had to take all the knives out of her grandma's house, for fear that she was going to hurt somebody or herself. Yeah, like I said, it can always get worse. Don't worry. This is the best day of the next 5 years. Just think about it that way. Enjoy.
Oh, well, after it's all over, what did you do for yourself? Okay, you got done doing the film, you got done, doing your blog. What's next for Kitty Norton?
I'm not sure, because I wasn't able to create a revenue with the film that I thought I could. And I strategized really hard and worked on it really hard, but it just hasn't panned out. So I think I may have to go into some kind of, hopefully maybe something healthcare or dementia oriented job. What I was really hoping for is to maybe make enough money that I could float myself for a year and take that blog and turn it into like a half-hour dramedy. Yeah, like a 3-season kind of thing, the beginning of dementia, the middle of dementia, the end of dementia, and do a series with it for a streamer. But I don't know. We might still, I put December aside to maybe make a pitch deck, and I still have friends down in LA, so maybe see if there's any interest if I float that around. But yeah, so I might be at your McDonald's next time you're in the drive-thru. Asking you if you'd like ketchup with that. Or I might sell a project that goes a little further. And it would, the one thing that's hard about my film is it's not very diverse. And I've always thought, like, well, the next thing I do, then the casting can be so outstanding, and it can be not just people, in a certain income bracket, not just white, it just could be all kinds of things, and really open it up to everybody's experiences. Like, I was kind of bummed that we didn't have any caregivers who lived in apartments. But the thing was, I didn't cast this movie. I set out to go visit my 5 friends, and these were the 5 that it turned out to be, So I didn't even think about it until afterwards, I think, after the trip. And I was like, we're awful white. There's a lot of white girls in this thing. So, yeah, so that's another thing I would love to do is show more of the spectrum of people who are dealing with this.
And we're getting to look at your website.
Yeah.
Well, anybody out there watching this, if you get a chance to watch Kitty's film, it's a wonderful film. Bring Kleenex.
Yeah, and through November, National Family Caregiver Month, it's actually available to stream online thanks to Al's Authors Film Festival. So join our newsletter. I send out the links to the newsletter. And, it's a $6 ticket, and you get your caregiver friends around and enjoy the film.
And I highly recommend it. It's a wonderful, wonderful film. Kitty, thank you for joining us today.
Oh my gosh, I had such a good time. I talk too much. Blah, blah, blah.
Well, then I guess we'll end it here, and I'll say we'll see you guys back in December for a follow-up interview, this time with Dan Gerke from Soul to Soul Connections and the use of telepathy with Dementia Caregiving. That'll be on our next episode of the Dementia Home Care Show. In the meantime, you can go over to our YouTube channel at USA Global TV and Radio or Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck and look for the Dementia Home Care playlist where you'll find all of our past episodes. Thank you to the wonderful Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck for all of her hard work behind the scenes today, and thank you to our sponsors for making this possible. See you next time, everyone.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care, How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to tracycramperkins.com. Tracy Cram Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
Every woman carries a story of strength, of purpose, of light. Through her courage, the world is transformed. Through her grace, generations are inspired. This is Iconic Women. Within Every Woman Lives a Goddess, a celebration of brilliance, beauty, and empowerment. Join us every Wednesday at 11 a.m. New York, 4 p.m. London time. Only here on USA, Global TVR, and Radio. Featuring the iconic Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, honoring voices that shine across the world. Subscribe to our YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, to watch and engage with all our content. World-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration.
Nestled in the heart of the Blue Ridge Mountains, the Horseshoe Farm has always been more than a destination. It's a living, breathing reflection of community, connection, and transformation. Once a humble family farmstead, it has evolved over the years to become a sanctuary for travelers, seekers, families, and friends alike. Originally reimagined by the Turchin family as an Airbnb property, the farm began its journey into hospitality with simple roots, welcoming guests to experience the beauty and peace of the sacred land. As word spread and the vision deepened, the property organically blossomed into a boutique resort, rooted in the values of slow living, intentional experiences, and the magic of gathering. Today, the Horseshoe Farm is a 90-acre experiential retreat that merges hospitality, wellness, and culinary excellence. It is home to the Stable Spa, the Silo Cookhouse, distinctive lodging options, and a curated calendar of events that nourish mind, body, and spirit. Our guest experience is designed to be both grounding and expansive, where the comforts of luxury meet with the simplicity of nature. At its core, the Horseshoe Farm is about transformation of land, of self, and of community. We are proud of where we've come from. We are confident in who we are today and excited for the road ahead. Hello, I'm Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, also known as the Listening Mentor and President and Founder of USA Global TV and Radio. I had the opportunity, the pleasure of attending a retreat at the Horseshoe Farm just recently. I was so impressed with all of the opportunities that were presented to me in this glorious setting as well as the highest level of customer service, that I've decided to put together a retreat at the Horseshoe Farm in Hendersonville, North Carolina, United States of America, June 3rd through the 6th, 2026. You can expect to have a beautiful time of relaxation combined with learning, community, collaboration. Do consider joining me in this wonderful opportunity to reconnect with yourself, with others, and with nature. For more information, email me at drjacqueline@usaglobaltv.com.
Get ready to wear the brand that's changing the world of media. Introducing the official USA Global TV and Radio online store. From our TV show hosts to our incredible global guests, you asked, we delivered. Rep your appearance with pride. Whether you've been on air, hosted a show, or tuned in, we have something just for you. Visit us at usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com and start shopping today. Check back frequently. We're dropping fresh new designs all the time. Showcase your role in our global community. These designs celebrate your voice, your story, your presence. It's more than just merchandise. It's a movement of hope, inspiration, education, and elevated listening. Head to usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com. Your spotlight awaits. USA Global TV and Radio. Elevate your style. Elevate the world.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA-Global-TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting. We're building bridges and changing lives, one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.